Yes, good morning, everyone. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, myself is Suneel Singh. I'll be taking your Linux administration session. You are able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. I was able to see.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. So let's start the session. So this course is about Linux administration. So before I start the session, let us just try to understand what is Linux. What do you know about Linux? Okay. So what is Linux? So you can use the mic or the just chat box to reply. Yes, according to you, what is Linux? Because before we go into that, we should be minimum aware that what is Linux. So this course is about Linux administration. So administration means managing the network using Linux. But what is Linux? Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Yes, I didn't get any reply. What is Linux?
Is an operating system that connects the internal hardware in electronics, including phones and computers.
Okay, very nice. You can use the chat box also. Okay. What about others? Yes, Bhaskar, Rakesh, Shiva Reddy. They just
Yes, sir.
you just now given the reply.
Yes, yes.
What about others? Okay. Yes, what you have said is absolutely right. Linux is an operating system.
System.
So can you just keep your mic in mute position because it's causing disturbance from your side?
Okay, okay.
You can use the chat box to reply. Thank you. Yes, others. What is Linux? Linux is an operating system. Which type of operating system? Any idea? Yes, we can use the chat box to reply. Yes, Bhaskar has written now, but Linux is multitasking multi. Yes, now finally the answer I was looking for, the main thing which separate the Linux. Yes, Linux, what you are saying, all of you is correct. Linux is an operating system, but which type of operating system? The thing which separate the Linux from other OS is, it is an open source operating system. Yes, this answer is given by Shiva Reddy. Very nice. And Bhaskar also written very nicely, multitasking. So it means you already aware about what is Linux. So it's very good. Yes. Rakesh, you have not replied. According to you, what is Linux? You please be interactive so that the session will be very interesting and as well as uh, very, you can say, productive for everybody. Okay, fine. Linux is an operating system. Which type of operating system? Open source. So what is open source? We'll discuss. And as quite rightly, our friend Bhaskar is also said, Linux is a multitasking and multi-user. Yes, it supports multitasking to do and multiple user can log in. So if I submerge or if I submerge all your answer, you can think that is the correct answer. Like Tejasvi also said initially, Linux is an operating system which acts like an interface between the user and the machine. Yes, correct. So now Shiva Reddy has added one point. It's an open source. Yes, that is also correct. Now Bhaskar is said it's an operating system through which we can do the multitasking and multiple user can. So all these things makes, yes, our answer perfect. So you can say in a single word, Linux is an open source operating system which acts like an interface between the user and machine through which we can do multiple tasks by logging with multiple users. So this makes Linux, yes, very, very, you can say, interesting as well as most commonly used operating system in the world as far the servers is concerned. Okay, Rakesh is asking one question. Can we use the Linux wherein exits the Windows? Yes, you can use. For that, we have to use what the technology called VMware. Like our physical machine will be normally, most of the people in the world prefer to use for desktop purpose or for the user purpose, Windows operating system. On Windows, we can install the Linux through the VMware. Have you heard about the VMware application? So we are going to do this practical using the VMware only. Okay, Rakesh. How to do that we'll be discussing. Fine. Okay, fine. So Linux is an open source operating system. So I repeat, Linux is an open source operating system which acts like a interface between the user and the machine through which we can do our task, multiple tasks through different user in Linux, which makes the Linux very special, different compared to other OS. So the main thing which separate the Linux from other OS is Linux is an open source operating system. Open source means what? We will go into the depth. Before that, I'll just give the glance. After that, I'll take you through that. What are the topics which we are going to cover through this 32 to 35 days it will take for this course. And this course, Linux, is your foundation and basic course. So without this, you cannot understand the cloud technology, or you cannot work either on the AWS or the VMware technologies or the DevOps. So this is a mandatory course. And apart from that, most of the company servers, according to you, if you are working, it's very good, you might be knowing, or if you are not working, you can just ask any of your friend who is working in any company, or you just check in the Google. Most of the servers in the world are working on which operating system? Yes. Most of the servers in the companies are working on which operating system? Yes, it is a Linux. It is a fact. We cannot deny the fact that most of the people in the world, they are using Windows OS, but mostly on the client side. Mostly on the client side, yes. But why the people prefer to use Windows? Because it is easy to operate. But why the companies prefer to use their servers on the Linux? Why they use? Yes, AnjiReddy is giving you one figure, 90% of the servers. So you can understand. So why the companies prefer to use Linux as their server? Linux is not as easy to operate as Windows. But what is the things which makes the companies go for the Linux instead of Windows, especially for the servers? Yes. Yes, very nice. AnjiReddy is saying yes. Even in Windows, we can log in. Yes, Tejasni, in Windows also we can log in with multiple users. But the things which separate the Linux from the Windows is it is more secure. The most important difference between Windows and Linux is you can ask the people who are working on Linux and who are working on the Windows. They will also agree on one point. Windows is easy to operate, but it is not secure as Linux. So Linux may be initially difficult to work because mostly we use this commands. But once you get habituated, the work done will be very fast with the Linux, since we use as a command, immediate reply, immediate, you can say, the action or the result. Yes, and the most important advantage of using the Linux is very secure. That's why most of the company servers are working on what? Linux. It is a fact. Okay. And why? Because it is secure. How it is secure, we'll be going to discuss in our coming day session. So there are, just briefly I can say, as per the structure, Linux can be installed on multiple partition, which you cannot do in Windows. So Windows is, I also agree, Windows is easy to operate. So in Windows, the OS installation on Windows will be done on single partition. So it is easy to operate, but in Windows, if one of the OS folder get corrupted, entire OS will get corrupted. Then same way in Linux, what we can do, first thing, Linux OS can be installed on multiple partitions. So I'll be going through that, how to install in 2 to 3 days. I'll show you how to install the Linux, okay? In multiple partitions. So if here one of the OS folder get corrupted, it will not impact the complete OS because that OS folder belong to which partition, that only will get affected. That's why we will install the Linux OS on multiple partition, which you cannot do in Windows. Apart from that, when we work in the Linux, mostly through the command, virus cannot enter. But when you work through the Windows graphical interface, the chances are that virus can enter. And if a virus impact one folder in Windows, entire OS will get affected. And apart from that, the Windows has less security. Like in every operating system, they have some inbuilt security. If you talk about the Windows, inbuilt security is Windows firewall. But in Linux, in addition to firewall, they have their extra securities like IP tables, SC Linux, enhanced security Linux, which makes Linux very secure, and it will not frequently get struck or hang. So that is the reason most of the company servers, they will work on the Linux. So this course, which we are going to start now, Linux administration, what are the topics which we are going to cover through this course? I'll be going through it so that you will get a clear idea about what are the things which we are going to discuss through this Linux administration course, which will be about 32 to even 35 days. Sometime it will take, and session will be there in every day except on some big festival or on some like normal days. It will be from Monday to Saturday, including I'm taking the session on Saturday. In some rare cases, if festival or if I'm not well, you may miss 1 or 2 classes, but it will be continuous sessions. Okay. So now let us go through what are the topics which we are going to cover through this course. So as I told you, this course is our foundation fundamental course. So if you want to work like a administrator, this is the must course. And if you want to work on the servers also, this course is must. And if you want to work on the cloud also, this course is must. So uh, this is the course based on the RHL syllabus. Okay. So I'll go through what are the topics which we are going to cover through this course. Okay. So now before I go through the topics, let me just inform you. So actually this batches cost is 5,000, but now currently we are having the offer also. So you might have seen on our demo session, it is for 4,000 for the people who are registering fast. Okay. So here they have given 5,000, but currently the offer is there for a few days. So you can have this course for 4,000, same content. Okay. Now let us go to the like who can do this course, like because I'm taking the batches so many years, so I know the commonly asked question. So they'll say, sir, if you want to do this course, do we need to know any coding or the program? The answer is absolutely not. So generally the people who are from the who are not comfortable with the coding or the programming generally comes to the networking side, administration side. For this Linux course, definitely you don't need any coding or the programming language. Second question, do I need to have the from any particular background only, like engineering or the computer field? Because I'm not from that. So anybody can do this course, because this is designed in such a way that first few days we'll discuss only fundamental things. Because as you know, as your fundamental becomes strong, you can easily learn this course. And this course is designed in such a way, and the depth is such that even a person who is having a gap maximum up to 3 years, you can easily cover it. So much depth we will be covering. And this is your foundation course for your higher courses, whether it is AWS, Azure, VMware technology, SAP. This is a foundation course. Okay. So this course, let me go through this course now. So this course is designed are divided into two parts: standalone administration and network administration. So in the standalone administration topic, I'm just giving you the overview about what are the topics which we are going to cover. So first topic will be introduction of Linux. Like today, before I started the session, we discussed what is Linux. So it's very good. Already you have some idea, because sometimes the people will not know much anything about the Linux. So that's why I ask you this. So I'm very like happy with the way you replied. So it means my job will be much easier. So first today, like today's our day first. So we'll be going through the introduction of Linux. Then in the Linux, the structure of if you want to learn the any operating system, you should know the structure. So we'll be discussing tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, so even tomorrow we will have the session. So structure of the Linux OS, where in that we will discuss where exactly what type of data will be stored. Because once you understand where exactly what data will be stored, it will be easier for you to operate that operating system. Like we are more familiar with Windows, so most of the people are aware about the Windows structure. When we install the Windows, where exactly the Windows OS get installed? On the C drive. But what about Linux? Any idea, anyone? If you install the Linux OS, where exactly the Linux OS get installed? Yes, please write it in the chat box, so that we will see in the structure of the Linux OS. Yes, if you know, it's very good. If you don't know also, don't please think about whether your answer is right or wrong. Please be interactive. If you get any wrong answer, there will be no punishment. Same way, if your answer is right, there will be no prizes, nothing like that. But it will be very good to have a session interactive. So yes, what is your idea about where exactly the Linux OS get installed? When we install the Linux OS, like when we install Windows, it will be installed on C drive. Maximum people knows this. What about Linux? Yes. Any idea? Anyone? No. I'm saying in which particular location. Not VMware is the application through which you can install without disturbing your physical machine. But in VMware also, if you install Windows, it will get installed on C drive. And if you install the Linux, where it will get installed? Yes, Bhaskar Pandit. Like in Windows C drive, in Linux, where? Any idea? Anyone? Just be like you have given your answer, no? Please write your answer. Don't bother about your right or wrong. Whatever you feel, you write it. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Bhaskar is given. Yes, Tejasni, Rakesh, Shiva. Please reply. If you don't know, just write, I'm not aware something. Okay, Ram, okay. Rakesh is written. What about others? Okay. One more friend, Subaradu, also join us. Okay. I mean, yes, in which location this Linux will get installed. Suppose I'm installing the Windows. So where it will get installed? On our hard disk C drive. Yes. So same way when we install Linux, where it will get installed? Yes. Everybody has replied. Tejasni, you are not replied. You have any idea, Tejasni? Windows get installed on C drive. Okay, no problem. So I'll tell you. So that we will be discussing in the structure of Linux OS. So remember, in Windows, the OS get installed on C drive. In Linux, there is no drive letter. So where it will get installed? On the / directory. So that we will be discussing. Okay, complete structure. So that it will be easier for you to operate the Linux operating system. So those people who join little bit late, I'm just going through the what are the topics which we are going to cover through this course. So first introduction of Linux we will discuss. what is Linux. We already started. Again, we will discuss some more interesting thing. Like you have the idea, like who designed or who developed the Linux. Most of the people knows who developed, who designed the Windows OS. Yes, yes, please. Who developed or who designed the Windows OS? Because most of the people are aware about the Windows. Yes, yes, you are ready on the slash. Linux will be installed slash forward direct. That we will discuss in coming day session in detail. But my present question is, who designed or who developed the Windows OS? Microsoft. Under yes. Under whom? Who is the owner of that Microsoft company? Now he's not there, but actually we will give the credit to that person. He's very famous person who designed this Windows OS. His name is, you are given correct answer, company name. I'm asking ADV about the Windows. Who designed the Windows OS? You are not aware? Shall I tell you? He's very famous person. Once I tell the name, you will say, oh, I know this. Yes, anyone? The person name who designed the Windows operating system?
Bill Gates.
Yes, very nice. Bill Gates. So everybody or most of the people are aware, yes. But this is the first time I have seen the answer. Linus Torvald, ADV have written. Who designed the Windows OS? Bill Gates, not Linus Torvald. Now come to the Linux. Who designed the Linux OS? Yes. Like Windows OS designed by Bill Gates. Linux OS designed by whom? Yes, you are absolutely right. First time I have seen this answer correctly because most of the people are not. ADV you have written. So please remember ADV. This Linus Torvald is a person. This both these you can say genius people, Bill Gates and Linus Torvald, both are alive. So Bill Gates is from US, as you might be knowing. Linus Torvald is from Finland. So Linus Torvald designed the Linux OS. Yes, our friend Bhaskar even written the year. But as far I have seen the books, Bhaskar, as per I have seen the books, Linus Torvald designed this OS and it was released. Actually, the official date in the books you will find 30 August 1991. Unofficially, I heard it was available in 1990. I don't know about 89. If you are confirming the date, then I will update myself. Because as far I have seen in the books, officially it was launched on 30 August 1991. Unofficially, it was available from 1990, I heard. Okay, fine. Very good knowledge. So we'll be discussing in introduction who designed the Linux OS, what are its features. Then we'll go to the, I'm going through the topics which we are going to cover through this course, Linux administration course, which will be for 32 to 35 days. And every day session will be there except on Sunday. In case of some big festivals, we'll not have. Then after the introduction of Linux, we will be discussing the structure of Linux. So once we install the Linux over, where exactly which type of data will be stored, that complete detail we'll discuss in the structure of Linux. Then after that, we'll proceed to the how to install the Linux OS. After that, we will move to the basic commands. So here I have written just basic commands, but the basic commands we'll be discussing like 3 to 4 days, starting with how to log in as a root. The administrator account name in Linux is root. Like in Windows, it is called administrator. Here it is called root. So how to log in, how to open the terminal. From that, so much basics will start. How to check our directory, pwd, ls, cd, how to change the directory. These small things we will discuss. Along with that, after that, we will come to the how to create the files using cat command, touch command, and vi editor. So these three commands we'll be discussing of the creation of in the topic called creation of file. After that, we will be discussing how to create a directory. The command used is mkdir. Then in that also we'll be discussing how to create single directory, how to create multiple directory, how to create parental and nexted directory, tree structure directory. Okay. Nexted or tree structure directory. And after that, we'll be discussing what is meant by absolute path, what is meant by relative path. So these are all fundamental things. Minimum we should be expected to learn this. And I'm sure that once you do this course, definitely you will know all these things. Then after that, we will be discussing how to copy the files and directory. Once we know how to create, we should also know what is absolute path, what is relative path. Yes, after that we'll be discussing copying the file from one location to another directories. Then when we know how to create the files and directory, we should know also how to delete them, how to rename. So these all fundamental things we will be discussing in basic commands for 3 to 4 days. After that, we will go to the soft link and hard link. What is the difference between hard link and soft link? How to create a soft link, how to create a hard link of the files and directory. So that we will be discussing in soft and hard link. Then in every interview, compulsory, at least 1 or 2 questions will be there from the topic called booting process. So why we are not discussing the booting process? Because first you should get some basic idea about what is Linux. After that, we'll be going to the booting process. Complete one session. Even if you do not understood, I'll take the second little bit part to make you understand the booting process. So booting process means loading of the OS. So once we install the Linux OS, when we power on the button, till you get the login screen in the background, what are the stages, various stages takes place in Linux while the loading of the OS took place from the hard disk to RAM till we get the login screen. What are the different stages? What type of process takes place? That complete thing we will discuss in booting process. So booting means the loading of the OS from the hard disk. So when we install the OS, where it will get installed? On the hard disk. So when we power on the button, immediate do you get the login? No, it will take some time. Why? Because in the background, the booting process takes place. So what are the stages? What happens in various stages? That complete detail we will discuss in booting process till we get the login screen, what happens in the background. So that knowledge will be useful for us as an administrator. So that we will discuss in booting process. So when it is loading the OS, there will be different stages. In these different stages, you have a different run level. So in run level 0, what happens? In run level 1, what happens? That we will discuss run level 0 to 6. Okay. So once we done with the booting process, then we will start the administration part. So for this first 3 to 4 topic, it will take minimum 7 to 10 days, because my intention is you should be good with the fundamental things. So that's why, even though it is written for the, but I will be taking about like approximately 7 to 10 days just to make you comfortable in the basic things. Then after that, we will move to the administration part. So as an administrator, our job include managing the network. In that, what you have to do, one of the basic thing we have to do, fundamental thing we have to do is, when the company is appointed as administrator, so you want to work like an administrator or just a normal person? Yes, those who are attending the course, why you are attending the course? Your intention is to work like an administrator or normal person in a company? Yes, please write it. Why you want to do this course? So once you are done with this course, yes, you will be eligible to work like a Linux administrator. Yes. So now it is whose job to create the account? So one of the fundamental job you have to do is, suppose the company conducted today some interview, you are the administrator. So those people who have been selected into the company, they will create their own account. Whether the employees who are been appointed in the company, given the offer letter, once they come to the company, they will create their own account. Yes, tell me, whether the employees, users create their own account? No. So who has to create the account? You are, if you are an administrator, you have to create the account. So one of the basic basic function we have to do is whenever company conduct the interviews and appoint some people, so their account has to be created by we. We means as an administrator. So we'll be discussing in user administration, how to create the account, how to assign the password, how to control that user, where the user detail will be stored, that is called user database file. So which particular file uh, contain what particular detail. So as per the company requirement, can we modify those database file? Yes. So those things we will discuss in the user administration. So if any employees left the company, his account has to be how to be deleted. So those things we will be learning in user administration. After that, we will start the group administration. So group administration. So in the group administration, we will be discussing what? We'll be discussing what in the group administration? The collection of users is called group. So like you might be using the WhatsApp or some apps in which you might be member of some group. So generally group is created for what purpose? To assign or to give same permission to multiple users. So when you create, suppose you want to send a particular message. So what you will do, instead of sending the message individually, you will create a group. You will add those users who need same message. You will add into the group and apply the message on the group. So same way in the company, so many employees are there. So the employees, not all employees, multiple employees should get particular permission for particular file or directory. So how we will do that? Individually, if you do, it will take a lot of time. So we should know how to create a group. Then after creating the group, how to add the users into the group which need same permission. So we'll be discussing that in group administration, how to create a group, how to add single user, how to add multiple user, how to make group admin. So these things we'll discuss in group administration. So once we know how to create a users and group, our next task as an administrator is managing the network. So in the network, we have to manage what? The users and the computer. So one of the most important thing as an administrator we have to use to control the users and computer as per the company policies, permission policies. By using the permission policies, we will control and manage our network, which include our employees, users, and computer. So in Linux, we have three types of permission policies. They are called basic file permission, access control list, and advanced file permission. So in Linux, how many types of permission policies? We have three types: basic file permission, access control list, and advanced file permission. So all the three policies we are going to discuss in detail. Basic file permission, apply the permission on categories wise, like owner, group owner, and others. How to check the permission of a file and directory. Everything we'll discuss in basic file permission. Then if you want to give different user, different permission, different users and different group, different permission based on the company requirement, we have to use the access control list. Then we have also advanced file permission. In that, again, we have three types of advanced file permission: set UID, set GID, and sticky bit. So in detail, that also we'll be discussing all the three: set UID, set GID, and the sticky bit in advanced file permission. And after that, we will be discussing, this is the first part in the standalone. Now the second part will be, like as an administrator, we need to know how to monitor our servers. What are the things running in our server? So that we will be discussed in the topic called process management, observing, monitoring our servers. What are the things running? So in the Linux, there are many commands. Out of the two most commonly used command for monitoring purposes, PS command, process status command, and top command. So these two tools or commands we will be discussing for monitoring. Sorry. So these two commands we will be discussing: process status and top command, to monitor our servers. Okay. Then after that, in the third part of our standalone topic will be, third topic will be what? Disk management. So as an administrator, we should know how to manage our hard disk, because data storage will be done on hard disk. To store the data on the hard disk, we need to create what? Yes, anybody? To store the data in the hard disk, what we need to create? Can you please write your answer? To manage your hard disk, what you need to create on the hard disk to store your data systematically and safely. Our data will be, yes, very nice, Bhaskar. We have to create partition. We have to create partition. Yes, Rakesh, we have to create. So if you create the files, where you will be creating, where you will be storing? On the partition. So in the third part of a standalone topic, we'll be discussing disk management. Disk means hard disk. So how to manage our hard disk? Creating the partition. So we'll be discussing first, what is, how to create a standard partition. Then in creating the partition, what are the different types of file system we have in Linux, how to format it, and how to access the partition in Linux by using the mounting, temporary mounting as well as permanent mounting. We'll discuss. After that, we will be discussing the swap. Swap is a logical memory which will improve the system performance. How it will improve, that we will discuss. Then very important concept in disk management, LVM, logical volume manager, through which we will be discussing how we can combine the multiple hard disk or multiple partition to create a single storage space through which we can do the resizing. Resizing means increasing the size of our file system. So that will be done with the help of the LVM. So we'll be discussing that LVM. After that, on your partition, if one of the partition or hard disk get failed, everything will be lost. So to prevent the data loss, if the hard disk get failed, what we have to do? We need to store the data not in single hard disk, but multiple hard disk or multiple partition. So storing the data in multiple partition or hard disk is done by using RAID, redundant array of independent disk. So RAID is applied by using the RAID level. So we'll be discussing RAID level 0, 1, 5. So which one is best? RAID level 5. So how to configure the software RAID? Using the RAID level 5, we will discuss in RAID. So this is the third part in the standalone. The last part in the standalone will be, as an administrator, we should know how to prevent the data loss of the company. So to prevent the data loss of the company, the most important job of an administrator, it is to make sure the company data is never lost. Company data has to be protected. So for that, we'll apply permission. And how to prevent the data loss of the company? What we need to do? Yes, please tell me what we need to do to prevent the data loss of the company as an administrator. Without that, our job is never done. Yes, anybody, please be interactive. Like today, most of the answers you have given correct. So as an administrator, what you have to do to prevent the data loss of the company? Secure data policy. Okay. Others, how you will make your data how you will prevent the data loss of the company? Yes, anybody? We have to take the backup. Yes. We have to first take the backup. So who will generate the data for the company? Employees. Users will create the data. So we need to take the backup of the users data. Yes. So in Linux, there are various tools or commands to take the backup. So the third and last part of our standalone topic. The course is divided into two parts, standalone and network. In standalone, again, three parts. First, all fundamental things with the user administration, group administration, and permission. Second part, disk management. Third part, backup. So how to take the backup in Linux? Various tools. So everyday users we'll be writing different data. So how we'll take the backup of users data? By using the dump command. Sorry. So we'll be discussing how to take the backup using the dump command. In dump command, we have full backup, we have incremental backup and differential backup. So that we will discuss with the dump command. Then how to take the normal backup and also how to compress the data with the tar command we will discuss. So like in Windows, we compress the data by using WinZip. In Linux, GunZip. So we'll be discussing with tar command how to compress the data with GunZip tool. Then how to take the backup of multiple files and directory using CPIO command. So this will be the backup and restoring. Then finally, we should know how to do the automation job. Last topic in standalone administration, scheduling of jobs. Scheduling of job means, suppose if you want a file to be created at so and so time, a user has to be created and so time. The backup should be taken in so and so time. So how you can do this? By auto scheduling, automation job or scheduling job. So for that, two commands are used, AT and cron tab. So we'll be discussing this cron tab and AT command we will be discussing. Okay. So these are the three these are the two commands we'll be discussing for automation of job, AT and cron tab. So that will be the end of the standalone administration. The last part of our course will be network administration part. In this, we are going to focus as an administrator how to configure the servers. So who will configure the servers? Administrator. So that we will be learning under the network administration part. So suppose there are 100 machines in the company. So who has to assign the IP address? Yes, in the company, who will assign the IP? So on 100 computer, 100 employees are sitting. Can the employees assign the IP on their respective machine? Can the normal employees? No. So who has to assign the IP? You are an administrator, so you have to assign. So will you go to each and every machine and assign the IP? Yes, tell me. Will you go to each and every machine and assign the IP if you are an administrator? No. Then what you will do? Yes, Subbaraju. Then what you will do? Your company, you got a job in a company, big company where 200 machines are there. All the users should get the IP. So you will not go to each machine and assign the IP. Only admin can assign the IP. So what you will do in that case? Yes, tell me. What you have to do? You have to configure one server. I have given the hint. Now tell me which server you have to configure. Server means which provide the services. So server has to be configured in all machine, no, only in one machine. It will provide the service to all machine. So which server we have to configure to provide the IP to the client? Yes, I have given you the enough hint. Tell me the answer. No idea. Okay. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Okay. So we have to configure the server called DHCP. Have you heard about the name? Every company need to configure this server because the IP should be there. If employees need to communicate with each other, compulsory IP should be there. So for assigning the IP address dynamically, we have to configure which server. Dynamically means automatically. So for that, which server we have to configure? DHCP server, dynamic host configuration protocol. Yes. So that server how to configure will start. Then I'll be also showing you how to take the remote desktop of other machine and how to copy the data from one machine to another. But one of the important job of an administrator is to share the data. So to share the data among the employees, we have three different servers. So all the three different servers we'll be discussing in Linux, starting with FTP. file transfer protocol. So if you configure the FTP server, the employees can able to share their file. So some employees is working in one department, some other in other department. So they need to share each other file. So can they share automatically? No. So you have to configure with server, FTP server. With FTP server, you can share any type of file on any OS. So in the company, some employees might be using Windows OS. Some employees might be using Mac OS. Some employees might be using Linux OS. So how do you support the sharing of files among the employees? By using the FTP server. So we'll be discussing how to configure the FTP server so that our employees can share each other file. But FTP can support the sharing of files, but not directory. If some user want to share the directory, which is can be called folder also, can they share with the FTP? No. So for that, we have another server called NFS, Network File System. So with NFS, we can share both files and directory. So in Windows, if you want to do sharing of files and directory, what you have to use? Any idea, anybody? In Windows operating system, if you want to share the files and directory among different computers, what you have to configure? Share folder. In Windows, share folder. In Linux, if you want to share files and directory, what you have to configure? Which server you have to configure? Yes, which server you have to configure to share the SSH is used to take the remote desktop. It is not to configure the sharing of files and directory. Yes, Bhaskar, don't feel anything if your answer is right or wrong. If it is wrong, don't feel. You tried, that is very good thing. Yes. Others? Which server we have to configure? Yes, Subbaraju. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, sorry, Subbaraju. NFS, yes. NFS stands for Network File System. So with NFS, we will able to share files and directory. But with FTP, yes, Vishal, you have joined little bit late. So today,
Yes.
today I'm just it's our first day. I'm just going through the first day. So I'm just going through the first day. What are the topics which we are going to cover through this course? Okay. So
Okay.
FTP is used to share any type of file on any OS, but it will not share the directory. With NFS, we can share both files and directory. Like in Windows, we have share folder. In Linux, we have NFS, Network File System, through which we can share the files and directory. But what is the disadvantage with NFS? What is the disadvantage with NFS? So NFS support only sharing of files and directory only Linux to Linux, like Windows OS. In Windows OS, we use share folder to share files and directory through the share folder. Through the share folder, can we do sharing with other OS? No. So same way in NFS also, we can share files and directory with Linux to Linux machines only. So my server is on Linux. You are using client as a Windows. So can I do the sharing of files and directory with NFS? No, we cannot share. If your friend is using Linux, he can share with NFS, but not everybody who are using other OS. So in some companies, the most of the servers are on Linux, and employees prefer to use Windows because it is easy to operate. So now, which server we have to configure? You have to share both files and directory. Now from Linux to Windows, Windows to Linux, sharing you have to do. Which server you have to configure? Which server you have to configure? Yes, any idea? NFS is support sharing from Linux to Linux only, but my server is on Linux. My clients are using Windows. I need to share both files and directory from Linux to Windows. So NFS will not support. Then what I need to configure as an administrator? Yes, AnjiReddy is right. Samba server. So we'll be discussing all these three important server, how to configure FTP, through which we can share only files, but not directory, but it will support any OS. With NFS, we can share both files and directory, but only Linux to Linux. With NFS, which can be configured on Linux machine, it will support the sharing of files and directory from Linux to Linux, as well as Linux to Windows, Windows to Linux. So this all three servers will be discussing for sharing purpose. Then after that, we'll be discussing DNS, through which we can do the resolution of name into IP and IP to the name, which will be used in accessing the website by name. So if you want to access the website by name or access the server by name, which is easy to remember compared to IP, we have to configure DNS server. So we'll be discussing how to configure the DNS server. After that, we'll be discussing how to configure the Apache web server. After that, we will be discussing how to configure the Apache web server. So in every company now are hosting their website. So it is whose job to host the website? Administrator. So which service most of the companies are using to host the website? Apache, because it is a platform independent, means Apache can be used to host the website from any OS. You can do it on Windows also. So most of the servers in the world working on Apache web server to host the website. So we'll see how to configure the Apache web server through which we can host the website. So this is that, and DSCP I already told you. So these are the total topics which we are going to cover through this Linux administration course, which will be about 32 to 35 days, more than 1 month. And just for few days, this offer is there. So here, those people who join little bit late, see here, they have put the cost price is 5,000, but this is only up to Monday. Those people who are registering up to Monday, they have given one offer. Those people who made the payment up to Monday, 4,000 rupees. So you have 3 days. They are not directly telling you also on first day pay it. You see my demos also today. Tomorrow also you can do. Monday also you can see. And if you like the content, already I have shown you the content. So I've been teaching Linux since more than 10 years. So tomorrow also session will be there Monday. So you have time till Monday. So those people who make a payment up to Monday, you have the offer, very attractive and good offer. 4,000 rupees you have to pay. Here it is mentioned 5,000, but those people who made the payment up to like Monday, 4,000, they are giving this concession. They told me to inform in class. So those people who could not able to make the payment up to Monday, they have to make a payment of 5,000. So apart from these class videos, now some problem is going on with our regular app, that is GoTo. They are trying to resolve that issue. So this first 3 days videos are, I think they are even uploading on our YouTube channel for that. And you will be getting the recording sessions of everyday session. Plus along with that, I'll be providing you these three files. So in one file, I have written all the practical steps from first day to last day, including the link for the VMware, for the CentOS. So we are going to discuss this course through RHL 7 through CentOS 7. Even you can use the 8. I've given the link. And from first day to last day, all the topics from basics to all the server, I put it in one notepad file so that everybody can do the practical very easily. So I'll be sharing you this file once you make a payment. These three files I'll be sending on your mail ID. So every practical is there on this with heading, including all the topics which I have told you in the days wise schedule. Everything is written in this file. So this file I'll be sharing you along with this particular file. Like I told you, this course is divided into 2 parts, standalone. So Linux administration, standalone, this theory part, whatever notes I have collected. So I'll be putting you directly this file to your mail ID so that you don't have to write. So this is the standalone topic. This is the practical of a standalone network. And one more theory text file I have made, that is this one. In this server theory part, I have put DSCP, DNS, FTP, NFS, all the theory, Samba server, Apache web server, all the theories I have put it. So this file, 3 file I'll be sharing you. So please go through the today's session if anybody log in late. And tomorrow, today I just went through the what are the topics. So tomorrow, Saturday is there, even then I'll take the session. So tomorrow session will be there. See, this course, what I am teaching you, it is for RSCSA. You can easily clear the RSCSA. See its syllabus, only some part is added. So we are telling you quite frankly, RSCSA, Certified Solution Associate. But you have to go through the training for few days. So you go to any Prometic centers, you ask them, I already know the Linux, I just want to write the exam. So if you go to the Prometic center saying that I want to do the certification, so they will tell you, we'll train you and you can just find it out. It's very heavy charge they'll take, like for training. Certification fees, I think it is roughly $240, something like that, $240 or $280. So that examination fee will be constant. But in addition to that, they will charge you about 15 to 20,000. What we are charging you now, only 4,000 till Monday. So you can see by yourself, if you go to the Prometheus, same content, they will charge you minimum 15,000 to 20. And that much depth also they will not teach you, only exam point of view. So if anybody is interested in certification, so you have to say them, you should go to the Prometic center, say that I already know the Linux. I want to just take a training for few days, exam point of view. So they will provide you only like 4 to 1 week maximum. Prometic centers will have dumps. So from the dumps only questions will come. That's why they will say you 100% guarantee. From dump only that same question will come. Only every day same question will repeat. Yes, you can definitely see. I told you starting this course. So this course, even you can cover up to maximum 3 years easily, because that much of depth we are teaching. So once you are done with this course, you will be eligible to work like a Linux administrator, system administrator job. And Tejasni is asking, we apply for Linux job compulsory for AWS basics. See, if you want to learn the AWS, this is a mandatory. Without that, if you go there, you can't understand anything. Linux is the background for AWS. I told you, Vishal, I think you joined late. So if you don't know anything about Linux also, that's why we are teaching from the basics. So okay. I told you, first about 1 week, only complete basic things like what is Linux, how to install it. I have gone through it. So what is Linux, who developed it, how to create a file, all these basic things we'll discuss about 8 days. So you don't have to worry. Easily you can do
this recorded video.
Sorry?
I'll go through this recorded video.
Yes.
Class,
okay. Yeah. Definitely you can do that. And please remember, once again, I'm reminding you, you have the option. Yes. Today you have seen the session. Tomorrow also session will be there. Monday also, maximum Monday. So you go through that. And by Monday, if you make a payment, the 4,000 only offer is going on. Otherwise, after the Monday, if you are making a payment, it will be for same course, 5,000. So please go through this. Okay. So now, before I close the session, you can just ask your any queries or any questions. Yes. If you have any questions, any queries, please ask.
There is one question. So currently I am working, and I have a streaming project, like audio and video streaming project. So, and there are some networking tasks as well. So will this course help for that, for networking task as well?
Yes, definitely. See, you will understand what is meant by network, how it will work in the centralized administration. Definitely you will able to. In the background, So
Okay, like
uh,
about the sockets and all.
yes, socket
Okay.
means it's just a connection. If you just see 1 or 2 days, you will understand. But how the operating system through that administrator can control and manage the network, that
Right.
more than that you will learn here. Just
Okay.
if you see the
Okay.
socket, that connection, that is called desktop admin, that you can learn. So our friend Bhaskar is asking same question. If you are good with basic Linux, you can just work like a desktop, means the connection is there or not, some application is installed or not, some removing, that only the part of a desktop admin. Linux administrator means I told you the complete network managing, controlling, everything you can do with this course. So this course is Linux administration, in
Yes,
which
okay.
you will learn all the basic things plus how to create account, group, applying the permission, managing your disk, hard disk, configuring the servers. Everything will be covered in that.
And
How
also
the-
about like process management and process communication, intercommunication.
See,
This will be covered.
see, process management means how to monitor our servers with the Linux command ps and top command. We will discuss.
But not about the process communication, right?
Process communication means what happens if you go through the PSI layer. The layer is there, OSI layer. So if you go through that, you will understand. But here we will be not discussing that. We will be discussing once the operating system is used, how we are able to control and manage the complete all users and computer using the Linux operating system.
Okay.
Mostly the servers are working on Linux. So how to manage them, that you will learn here.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Anybody else? Any other question? Any other doubt?
Sir, I'm Subbarayadu.
Yes.
I'm working non-IT sector, sir. Right now, I have almost 15 years experience and I'm working as a team lead, sir.
Mhm.
Is it suitable for me for this? I have basic computer science background and MBA finance HR. Is it?
Yes. See, definitely you can ask your colleagues. The growth will not be there in your side. So the people will move towards what? Administration side. So this
Yes.
course will definitely help you, and understanding also how does when you are accessing anything in the servers, what they are doing, how it will be working in the background. So this will definitely improve your chances for switching toward the network side. And within 1 or 2 years, then you can easily jump to the cloud.
Okay, okay. What type of jobs will get, sir, if you could?
Administration, managing the network.
Okay,
Administrator.
okay. Yeah, my package 6.5, sir, after 15 years also. But is it what is the average salary if I move this?
See, for the people who are on the Linux, for basics they will be getting less package, around like 3 point, depending upon the company. But if you have 3 years experience, definitely your package will be around like very high packages compared to what you are right now. Maybe 6 to 8 easily you will get 3 years experience. 5
Okay.
years experience now around like 12, something like that.
Okay, okay, thanks.
On the cloud is still higher packages.
Okay, this for cloud, this is the basics for us.
Yes, you can just discuss with your any friends are there.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So any more question, or can I close this session? See, in the real time, you will do anything different? No, all these fundamental things only you'll do. Creating the files, creating the user account, applying the permission. So all these things will be useful in real time when you are working. Here we are doing on our practicing it, and in the real time, you'll do it on the server. That's it. Every command what we are going to use will be there in the real time also. Okay, Bhaskar.
Okay, sir. Do we have the EMI payment as well, or only the full payment?
See, full payment only. For 4,000, what you will think? So up to Monday, 4,000. Initially, it was 5,000 every batches, but they kept like this. For if they make the payment before Monday or up to Monday, they said. You can find it out for 1 month course. Nobody charge you 4,000.
All right.
With these 3 things, video is there. I will provide you the link for these practical steps. Nowhere you can find, and the topics what we are covering, you just compare with any other institutes. Okay, so can I close this session? Yes, anyone, any question, or can I close this session? Yes, tomorrow same time, 10:30. Yes, it is fine, no, for everybody the same time.
Yes.
Because I have other batches also, this is the possible time. Okay, so I'm closing this session. See you tomorrow. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, Abulba.